I think we've had a good life in Cooma, haven't we?
I think so.
Well, I have.
Well, I have.
She was no threat to anyone. She was frail, she was hanging onto a walker. She didn't comprehend what they were saying. She must have been terrified.
Kristian, why did you use a taser on a 95-year-old woman?
To say that she was a threat, that really hurt me.
Police experts have said that you used excessive force. Do you have anything to say about that?
I have seen the footage. It is confronting footage.
It tells the whole story and it just doesn't lie.
I can't imagine the grief and how distraught that family really is, trying to come to grips with that.
He had control of that weapon. He loaded the weapon and he pointed the weapon and discharged the weapon. It's a deliberate action that needs to be punished. All we want is justice.
At 95, we could accept our mother would die, at 95. I could accept that.
Leslie Lloyd and Michael Nowland are among the oldest of Clare Nowland's children.
But to go the way she has is just unacceptable. It's just something I'll never ever get over, I'm sure. It's just been a weight on me for the last 2 years and I just can't be myself, I don't think. I think it's just awful.
I think that applies to the whole family.
I think it definitely applies to the whole family. We've all struggled. Yeah. We've had terrible struggles.
The large, tight-knit family raised in the small town of Cooma in the New South Wales snowy mountains.
Like there's 8 of us and eight different personalities, so obviously it affects every one of us in a different way. On top of that is the grandkids and the great-grandkids. They had a great relationship with her.
A great-grandmother, knitter, Rabbitohs fan and adventurer.
You did a terrific job. How are you feeling, okay?
Yeah, fine.
Good girl.
We had so much fun with our mum. She was quite a character.
Something I've always wanted to do and I've done it.
She kept us all together. She loved family.
But in 2023, the 95-year-old is living at nursing home Yallambee Lodge and sliding into dementia.
Her dementia, it was like a short-term memory loss. It wasn't a full-blown dementia. Like she would recognise all of us and she'd recognise the staff, she knew all the residents, always was involved and active there, and she was happy.
But 3 a.m. on the 17th of May, Clare has an episode. Out of bed and in the kitchen, she takes 2 steak knives from a drawer.
Obviously I was in bed asleep and the phone went about 20 past 4. Your mum's wandering in her house and she's picked up a steak knife and she's disturbed some of the residents there. I said, do you want me to come in? And she says, no, I'm not concerned at this stage. And I said, well, just ring me back, I'm happy to come.
But the next number the nurse calls is 000.
We just have a very aggressive resident and she's going into different rooms. She's got 2 little knives that she picked up from the kitchen drawer and raising them against the staff.
That help is Constable Kristian White, arriving with his partner just before 5. But nursing home staff have lost sight of Clare.
Maybe I should have just gone in, but we just stoked up the fire because it was a very cold night and I just said, look, I'm just going to get dressed. They'll call back in 5 minutes because that's the pattern that's been if there's been a disturbance.
Police and paramedics appear relaxed as they chat in the administration building. No one notices their missing resident is just there, hiding around the corner in her pink pyjamas.
They didn't call me back and that's probably one of my biggest problems, that they didn't call me back because I could have talked to Mum and just said, come on Mum, let's go back to your room. She would have come. Never in my wildest imagination have thought it could have gone to the extent it did, no.
As emergency services search the facility, Clare is on the move, leaning on her walking frame, still clasping a knife.
Certainly she was carrying a knife, but what was she doing with it, She would never use it, honest to goodness. She's a gentle, gentle lady.
They eventually find her in the nurse's office and reason with her. But in less than 3 minutes, Constable White says, nah, bugger it, and fires his taser.
He had control of that weapon. He loaded the weapon and he pointed the weapon and discharged the weapon. She's 95 years old, she's frail and didn't comprehend what anyone was saying to her. And then to be tasered because someone's frustrated with her inaction, it was just, it was horrific.
Claire falls heavily and hits her head, her pyjamas scorched. Leslie's finally called, but to Cooma Hospital.
They didn't tell me she had been tasered. They told me straight away that she had a brain injury from a trauma at the back of the head, and she's inoperable and she will not make it through this. It was just the worst thing you ever want to hear. I think life's been good to us in Cooma.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we all got set up with our lives, so...
And got married and had kids.
Yeah, you've got a few grandkids, haven't you?
Yeah.
I was with Mum the evening before and we were chatting away. She was perfectly fine and healthy.
In what would turn out to be one of the mother and daughter's final moments together.
Ah, that's right. Someone told me there are 2 babies.
Twins.
Twins, yeah, lovely.
Yes. So that'll be 33 great-grandchildren.
Wow,
That's
that's a few. It was a good life.
Claire passes away a week later.
Mum was there for us, the whole 8 of us, for all our lives. And I know we can't be there to protect her 24/7, but the guilt doesn't go away.
There's a story breaking. A 95-year-old woman is fighting for her life after being tasered by police.
As their private mother becomes national news.
Why did the officer do what he did?
We don't know why yet, and that's why it's important that we have a very thorough investigation.
After a wait of 18 months, Constable Kristian White faces trial at the Supreme Court in Sydney.
Kristian White is the one and only witness his defence team has called to give evidence, and now it's up to a jury to decide whether they accept his side of the story.
White telling the jury the taser was his only option, and Claire posed a legitimate threat.
She was no threat to anyone. She was frail, she was hanging onto a walker. She didn't comprehend what they were saying. She must have been terrified.
The Nowland family in court every day.
That's just been the worst time ever. Going into that court day after day, hearing it over and over.
Forced to watch White's body-worn camera footage of the confrontation.
It tells the whole story and it just doesn't lie. You can't, there's no excuses about what you see in that footage.
The jury agreed, finding Kristian White guilty of manslaughter.
We just got to get a sentence that matches the crime, and I'll keep saying, all we want is justice.
The constable from Cooma almost immediately sacked from the New South Wales Police Force.
Clare Nowland died as a result of the actions of a police officer. This should never have happened.
The use of the taser was so out of proportion to what was happening. One would have thought that use of any force, let alone a taser, would have been totally unreasonable, and that's what the jury has found.
A killer cop, but at sentence handed what's effectively a 2-year good behaviour bond.
Were you shocked to avoid prison today, Mr. White? Is community service sufficient for taking someone's life?
It was really disappointing for the family. A slap on the wrist for someone that's killed our mother.
The judge says White made a terrible mistake in response to what he perceived to be a threat. The words spoken by him immediately before firing his taser suggest a loss of patience. But a custodial sentence would, in my view, be disproportionate to the objective seriousness of the offence.
Justice and fairness, that's all we wanted.
He'll need to complete 425 hours of community service, but won't spend a night in a prison cell. Leaving the 35-year-old father free to go. He's planning on moving out of Cooma.
His life's definitely changed, but it's all through his own actions. But no, I don't believe he's been punished at all. In 22 months he's been at home with his wife and child.
Prosecutors are appealing the sentence on the grounds it's manifestly inadequate, also arguing the judge was mistaken and disputing that Kristian White honestly believed his actions were necessary.
What are your hopes for the appeal?
The 3 judges that are appointed really have a very close look at the body camera footage, because it tells the whole story and it just doesn't lie. You can't, there's no excuses about what you see in that footage.
White, writing in an apology letter to the court, I take full responsibility for my actions. I have not had a single day go by where I haven't thought about the incident that morning and what could have been done differently. Police face difficult situations, and if they make mistakes, they are expected to answer them, which I believe I have.
Do you think Kristian White is sorry?
How do you measure remorse? I mean, there's a few crocodile tears. I'm certainly not convinced that there's any remorse there at all.
No, well, why can't he say it if he is? Why could he not take the one opportunity he had to get up in court and say, or read his letter? He didn't take it.
Now left trying to grieve their mother, who lived a full 95 years, but will always be remembered by the actions of a police officer whose job it was to protect her.
It's made me angry. It just shouldn't happen to a most amazing person in the world.
The mole's broken. You'll never get another Clare Nowland, I can tell you.